Hi everyone, I'm Chef Leroy and welcome to my cozy kitchen. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. I certainly am. Weather here in Minnesota is absolutely beautiful. Great fall weather. Anyway, I want to show you something I did recently. So I'm going to repurpose my lamb ragu that I made a couple weeks ago. Now this has been vacuum packed in my Avid Armor chamber vacuum sealer. There you go, guys. Beautiful, right? So we're going to repurpose this. I'm going to stretch it out a little bit so I can make more of a full meal out of it. I believe this is about just shy of 3 full cups. What I'm going to do today, instead of doing a pasta, now the last time I made this lamb ragu, I did it with zoodles instead of pasta. Well, today I'm going to use spaghetti squash. There you go. Now I'll talk to you about this in a minute. And otherwise, I'm going to show you what else you're going to need. So you're going to need a little bit of olive oil, okay? We're going to need a saucepan. I'm going to use some fire roasted diced tomatoes. That's going to stretch my sauce a bit. Now the sauce is actually complete, right? But I do want to stretch it a bit. So I'm going to use a little bit of celery. I've got 3 stalks of celery or ribs. I've got a quarter of a medium yellow onion. And I've got a large red bell pepper. That's basically what I'm going to use. I don't want to add any more herbs or garlic or anything else to this because it already has it all in there. We don't really need that. But what I may do is I pulled some fresh basil from my garden, and I think what I'm going to do is chop this up and add it to the meal later. So anyway, let's talk about the spaghetti squash to start with, okay? So this is a pretty large spaghetti squash. And what I did is I prepped this yesterday. So I cut the ends off the squash. I scoop all the seeds out, all right? Then I have a roasting pan. And the way I did this, I just literally laid them on top of each other like this. They're not flat. They didn't really have to be. But this is how I did it. I wrapped it up with foil. I didn't put anything else in the pan. I roasted this at 365 for 50 minutes. And when I pulled it out of my toaster oven, I let it sit on my counter for 20 minutes with the foil on top, and then I pulled the foil off and I put it in my refrigerator overnight. Now what we're going to do today is we're going to pull it off the outside shell here and break it apart just like spaghetti noodles. Then we're going to cook it off and we're going to add that sauce to it, and this is going to make a fantastic meal. I also have some goat cheese that I'm going to add to the meal at the end. And again, when everything is finished, I will post a photograph of my completed dish at the end of the video. So anyway, let's put everything together, show you how to throw it, all these things together, and let's have fun, guys. Okay, the first thing I want to work on is my vegetables for my sauce, all right? So I'm going to take this can off my board. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of olive oil to my pan here, my saucepan. Oil's in the pan. All right, now let's move the sauce out of the way. Don't need that there. And let's go ahead and dice up these vegetables, okay? I'm going to dice these as small dice, this onion. I'm going to put this right in the pan. Just like that. Always run the knife a little bit through there again. And in the pan. Now you might be saying, well, you already have all the vegetables in your sauce already. Why would you add more? Well, you know what? I think it's good. I think it'll add more to it. I do need to get the sauce to be a little bit more to it. More volume, so that's why I'm going to add a little bit more. Not to mention, I needed to use up some of the celery. I've had this in my refrigerator for probably a good week and a half. Just want to use it up. And crust. Now, if you want to know what the volume is on these, it's about just shy of probably a cup of celery, and it was about a cup of onion. Okay, let's go ahead and seed the pepper. So I just pop that core just like that. It's the easiest way to do it. And then I kind of take these ribs and peel them out a little bit. Tap your pepper down, and the seeds will pop out, okay? All right, same thing. Let's give this a little slices, a little julienne slice. You catch some seeds, you get them out of there. There's one thing about the seeds, they don't break down much, not unless you pureed the whole sauce. Okay, just like that. Now again, if you want to know how this sauce was made originally, just watch the video of my lamb ragu with zoodles, and that will show you how I made my sauce. And that was from another video which I did with stewed tomatoes. And that's it, just like that. And in the pan you go. Louis, I just dropped a piece of pepper on the floor. You want to find it? My sous chef Louis just arrived. Did you find it? There you go. Good boy. All right. There you go. Let's get that on the stove and start it up. Now this doesn't have to cook a long time because the sauce has already been fully cooked. The only thing is, what I'll probably do is I'm going to add these diced tomatoes here, fire roasted diced tomatoes. I'm going to add this can to this before I add the other sauce and let it cook down just a little bit. That'll help this kind of cook down a bit and break down. And this can is a 14.5 ounce can. I don't know why. They used to be 16, but things have changed over the years. All right, let's get this on the stove. Action. All right, I got the stove on a medium-high heat. And basically I'll saute the vegetables until the onions become clear or translucent, okay? All right, now while the vegetables are cooking, I'm going to start working on my spaghetti squash. Okay, again, this spaghetti squash was cooked yesterday. I did it overnight so you get it nice and cooled down. Just slowly pull the shell off, okay, or the skin. Just like so. And again, I cooked this at 365 for 50 minutes, and then I let it just sit in the pan with foil on top of it for an additional 20 minutes. And it was, look at this. Isn't that cool? Just breaks up so nicely. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it right in this pan here, just like that. So make sure you don't have any of that shell in there, because that stuff is really chewy, hard. But that's what it looks like. Just like a spaghetti, right? Go ahead and take your fingers and drag them underneath there, just like that. Pull that off, just like that. We just love spaghetti squash, it's so good. All right, and I didn't have any additional oil or butter or anything else with it, so it's just straight up like roasted. Okay, the mess is done. Look at that, beautiful. All right, we're going to set that aside and get this cleaned up and finish up our vegetables to get our sauce done. All right, give your veggies a bit of a stir. Looking beautiful. Onions aren't quite there yet, so we're just going to go ahead and let them cook a little bit longer. All right, the onions look like they're perfectly good. I think I'm going to end up fogging up my lens here, though, because the steam is going up toward it. All right, go ahead and throw that can of tomato in. Now the ragu is actually pretty thick, so I might end up adding a little bit of water to it to thin it down slightly, but we'll see how this diced tomato cooks up with this vegetable. But I do want this to cook down a little bit. I want those chunks of tomatoes to be a little bit smaller. That's a little bit. I still have it on a medium-high heat. And I'm just going to go ahead and let this cook a little bit now. I think I'm going to cook this at least 15 minutes just to let those tomatoes break down. All right, so I've had this cooking for, well, I got about 1 minute and 20 seconds left on that 15 I was saying that I was doing. And as you can see, most of the liquid has evaporated or cooked off. What I'm going to do is add a cup of water. I did mention that I might add water to this. I'm going to add a cup because I want the tomato, these are actually breaking down pretty good now, but I want them down just a little bit more. But what I'll do is I'll add the water, and I'll go ahead and add my ragu to it as well. Okay, there you go, 15. Go ahead and add that cup of water to it. Give it a stir. Now it's quite thin, but The ragu itself is pretty thick. Let's go ahead and add that. That is how you repurpose leftover. You just make it into something completely different. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this on that medium-high heat until this comes up to a boil, because that sauce was cold when it went in there. And then once it comes up to a bit of a boil or simmer, I'm going to reduce it down to a low temperature. And I'm just going to cook it slowly. I'll probably cook it slowly for at least 30 minutes. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted. So it's up to that nice simmer, but I'm going to drop this down in temperature a bit because I don't need the sauce quite yet. And I got it down on a nice low heat. All right, we're just going to let this cook for about, I'm going to let it cook for 30 minutes. I'll go ahead and set my timer here. All right, timer's set for 30 minutes. Just going to let it cook nice and slow like this. I got my other pan on the stove here. This is for my spaghetti squash. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and add 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the pan. Now this is a non-stick, so you may not need that much oil, but that spaghetti squash can stick a little bit. So I want to make sure that it doesn't by adding a little bit of oil. That should help. All right, my timer went off, and that is 30 minutes of cook time. And I think it looks beautiful. It's still a little wet, but that's okay because the spaghetti squash itself is still a little bit undercooked. It's a little bit crunchy, just slightly. So that's pretty dry, right? And all I'm going to do is saute that off in my saute pan with a couple tablespoons of olive oil, and then we're going to add this sauce to it. So this extra little bit of liquid here will help to cook that spaghetti squash nicely. All right, I got my pan up on high. You can see I just put one of my spaghetti squashes in there just to see how hot the pan was. And it's getting hot. Cut it all the way up on high. What I want to do is cook this squash off pretty fast, and then we're going to go ahead and add the sauce to it. This is just to give it a nice browned up a bit. Throw that all in there. It's going to be a lot, but you know what? It's going to be amazing. All right, when you're doing spaghetti squash and you're doing it this way, it does work really well in a non-stick pan. If you're using stainless, it does stick a bit. But that's why I like to use non-stick when I'm doing this here. So just give it a quick saute. Remember, this is your pasta alternative. Looks good, huh? Love it. We're going to finish this off with some goat cheese as well. But I'll show you everything at the end of the video, what it would look like when we plated it. I'm also cooking off some, baking off some Brussels sprouts too to go along with our dinner. There we go. See how it browned up a bit? See that? That looks good. That's just going to add some nice flavor to it. Now, even though I baked it already, that saute, that little bit of browned up stuff is going to taste fantastic with the sauce. Go ahead and give it another little flip. Oh, it smells so good. Woo! There you go. Look at that. That looks awesome. I think I got a little piece of my shell in there. See that? That's the skin. You don't want to eat that. That's hard. Pull that out of there. So sometimes you get a little breakage in there. Yeah, we got that out of there. That's good. I don't want to chew that. Again, I got it on full high pretty much. I don't have it on my boost, but I have it on high. Just to get a little bit of this browned up look to it. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that sauce to it and let it all cook together. I'll slow everything down after that. We'll drop it down to a low temp. Oh man, I'll tell you guys, if you could smell how good this is, it smells amazing. Unfortunately, cameras can't tell you the smell, so, but it really smells great. All right, I'm gonna give it another flip. Then we're gonna go ahead and add that sauce to it and turn it down. There we go, look at that. That looks so good. All right, let's go ahead and incorporate the sauce. Now, you could do it this way. You could just cook this off by itself and add the sauce over the top as a noodle, but I want to go ahead and make this as one complete meal with your spaghetti squash. Just like that. We're going to cook it all together so nicely. I'm just going to lay it right on top just like that. I don't think I'm going to even mix it. I'm just going to lay right on the top of it. Okay, I'm going to cut the temp down. Way down, actually. Oh, man. Tell you what, guys. This is going to be an award winner. That's it. That's got what you got. Then we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of goat cheese on top. And I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of aluminum foil on it and just let it all just marry together. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add my goat cheese to the top. Just a little bit on top here. More. That's good there. All right, I'm just going to put a piece of foil on top. I don't have a cover for this pan, so I use aluminum foil. I'm just going to let that simmer nicely together. I'm actually going to keep a really low temperature on it for now. I'm not ready to eat at this point. This is kind of a typical day where I'm cooking on a Monday and I have to wait for my beautiful wife to get home from work. So I'm just going to let it sit here and stay nice and warm. And that's it. We'll just do a little recap. All right, guys, I'm going to do a little recap on my lamb ragu with spaghetti squash. All right, so as you've seen in the video, the spaghetti squash I had cooked the day before. I cooked it at 365 for 50 minutes, covered, left it covered after it came out of the oven for 20 minutes, and then I put it in my refrigerator and I pulled it apart the next day. Okay, that's really important to do that. Again, this can be a vegetarian dish if you choose. Just make another sauce or a marinara type sauce or a ratatouille type sauce just without meat, and then you have a complete vegetarian dish. Not only that, but spaghetti squash is an alternative to pasta, so you lose all those carbs that are in those pasta noodles, okay? And if you're celiac, have celiacs, then this is for you because it doesn't have any gluten in it, okay? I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and then don't forget your goat cheese. I'm also going to put a little bit of fresh basil in with my dish, and today I'm going to accompany the dish with some baked Brussels sprouts. Again, I will post a photo at the end of the video so you can see what the plate looked like when we were dishing it up. Please subscribe if you haven't. I really would appreciate that. Thank you for all you out there that have already subscribed to the channel. It basically just tells you when a video has been posted. It doesn't cost any money to subscribe. And also, please give me a couple thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. I try to keep it kind of quick and short, and part of the reason is I've got a construction project going on at my house, and I'll add a clip of that into this so you can see what's been going on. And that's another reason why I went back into my archives and started pulling stuff out that I did earlier in the year, and I probably will keep doing some more of that because I got lots of video that I've done over the years. But that's kind of my deal for today. Again, please leave me any comments. If you have a comment or a question, please leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, you guys have a fantastic day. Chef Leroy and out. And thanks for watching My Cozy Kitchen. And I'll turn on all the lights if I can. So our closet. It's kind of another side closet. So what we're doing here is we're having a door put in because there was no door there before. So then we have this exterior door here. So you can go into your closet, and if someone's using the bathroom, they can close that door and not be disrupted while someone's trying to come into the closet. So this is where the shower was here. The toilet right there. And this is where the vanity is. And we're having it all replaced. Except for the vanity, we're keeping that, but we're having a new countertop added to it. This is the reason why I've been a little bit disrupted, because these guys come in the afternoon when I'm trying to do my cooking. So it gets a little loud and I can't, You know, I just can't have that. But he's run into all kinds of bits of problems here with this construction. Whoever did this originally did some hokey stuff, like cutting into the floor joist, which you're not supposed to. Somebody notched that, so he's got to fix that. All right, so that's what's been happening here at my casa.